welcome to my channel. Today we are going to talk about Sharuman, the savage king of the jungle. If you like stories like this, please subscribe so you don't miss out on new videos every week. Long before history remembered, before humans built cities or kingdoms, there was only wilderness. And deep within the heart of Borneo, a jungle that never slept ruled the land. Back then, humans were nothing. Scattered, nomadic, weak. No tools, no fire, no unity. They were prey in a land where lions, snakes, and beasts ruled supreme. One day under the blood moon, a child was born from a wandering woman. She had no home, no tribe, only survival. She named him Sharuman. This is how the legend goes. But let me tell you now, Sharuman wasn't alone. He had a brother, Zigma. Their father was killed by a lion when Sharuman was just a baby. Their mother, a nomad, moving from cave to cave, clinging to her children. When the boys grew up, they lived hard, hunted hard, and fought harder. Because in those days a man was only as strong as his kill, and both brothers were strong. But Zigma grew into a brutal warrior, Sharuman. He didn't speak much, but he saw everything. He learned from the wind, from the silence. One day, their tribe was hungry. There was no meat for 2 days. The women complained. The children cried. So Zigma grabbed a spear and went to the forest. Hours passed. The sun set. We were worried. Had he gone too far? Did a tiger take him away? But then we saw him come back dragging a dead lion. That's what it took to be a leader back then. Not knowledge, not wisdom, but brute force. And beside him, Sharuman did the same. That's how Sharuman became the king of his people. Because in a world where killing a lion meant power, Sharuman and Zigma became gods among men. Soon enough, their followers grew from dozens to hundreds, maybe thousands. But with power came pride, and there was only one fertile valley left to conquer. So they clashed. Words became roars, roars became war. And on a stormy night, Sharuman killed his own brother. This is how the legend goes. The rain was heavy, lightning cracked the sky. It was a night fit for a god of death. As Zigma stood over his fallen brother, his spear plunged deep into Sharuman's chest. Blood filled his mouth, the taste of iron. He pulled it out and held it high. "I am the strongest," he screamed. "Bow before me, little brother, and live." But something inside of Sharuman snapped. Maybe it was the blood, maybe the thunder. "We are two sides of the same coin," he said. "You cannot exist without me. Neither can our people." Zigma frowned. What did he mean? Was he mad? But before he could ask Sharuman Chad, he was angry, fearless, and in that moment he was faster, stronger, deadlier. Their weapons clashed, their muscles strained. The storm raged on. Neither backed down until finally, with a grunt of effort, Sharuman slammed his spear into Zigma's gut. He felt his insides burst and collapse. He screamed, fell and hit his head on a rock. Everything went black. Their mother watched everything from her cave. Her body was old, her heart broken. She died the next morning. Not from illness, not from hunger, but from grief. Now Sharuman stood alone. He looked at his hands, smeared with blood. Then he turned towards his people. It was time to move on. He led his people westward. He made rules. Women built, children obeyed. He built the first permanent homes, and he hunted other tribes. Join us or die, village by village, tribe by tribe. He conquered them all. Blood paved the path to his kingdom. By age 40, Sharuman ruled the entire jungle. He was no longer a warrior, he was a king. The first king the humans of Borneo had ever known. Years past, his kingdom flourished. But then they came from the east, the foreigners, the white men. They came to steal, to pillage, to enslave. They sailed from distant lands across the sea, bringing with them rifles, cannons, and death. In the end, it all came down to this. Sharuman stood in the middle of his burning jungle, watching the smoke rise from his lands. Explosions echoed around him. Screams filled the air. His best warriors lay dead at his feet. Even his son had fallen, an arrow piercing his chest. Beside him, his wife cradled her dead child, tears streaming down her face. Yet, even in the face of such tragedy, a flicker of resolve remained in her eyes. Gently she laid the child down and turned to her husband, her gaze unwavering. How exactly he won his loss to history, swallowed by the mists of time. Some say it was sheer luck, a lucky shot, a sudden change of heart in the enemy. Others claim it was divine intervention, a blessing sent from the heavens to protect their land. There are even tales of supernatural aid, of ancient spirits stirred to action by the plight of their people. But perhaps the truth lies somewhere in between. A combination of courage, cunning, and a bit of fortune. Whatever the case, the foreigners retreated, defeated by a king who ruled with fury and fire. Sharuman stood atop a hill overlooking his ravaged kingdom. Around him lay the bodies of his warriors, their faces frozen in eternal slumber. The jungle was scarred, the air thick with the stench of death and decay. Yet even in the midst of this carnage, a sense of eerie calm seemed to prevail. The relentless hum of insects replaced the cacophony of battle, and the distant cries of nocturnal birds echoed through the shattered trees. The king looked up at the moon, its cold light casting long shadows across the battlefield. For a moment, there was only silence, a heavy, oppressive silence that seemed to amplify the weight of their victory. The king felt the exhaustion of battle draining his limbs, the fatigue of a lifetime pressing down on his shoulders, but there was no time for rest. As the first rays of dawn touched the horizon, chasing away the lingering darkness, Sharuman knew his work was far from over. The scars on the land, the pain in his people's hearts, the thirst for revenge in his own soul, all of it demanded his attention. He was a king, after all, and kingship meant tending to wounds, rebuilding homes, and, most importantly, preparing for the future. The battle was won, but the war for survival, for dominance, and for justice was far from over. The king turned from the moon, his face etched with grim determination. There was work to be done, a kingdom to be rebuilt, and a legacy to be forged. The sun rose higher, painting the sky with hues of gold and crimson, a fitting backdrop for a king readying himself for the challenges ahead. He was never remembered in books, no statue in any capital, no chapter in any history. But in the heart of Borneo, his story still lives. And if you walk the jungle paths on a moonless night, you may still hear the echo of his name, the savage, the conqueror, the king, the jungle, never forgot. What do you think? Is there anything you'd like to add? Leave your comments below. Thank you for watching. See you next time.